right, we're building a shell in Zig using the Codecrafter's program as kind of a guideline. So what we're doing now, so in the last video, we set up a REPL. In the previous video, we set up handling missing commands. So if you tried to give a missing command to your shell, it would tell you that the command is not found, kind of like this example right here. And then we set up a REPL so that you can send multiple commands at a time. And now what we're going to do is we are going to build the exit built-in. So you can see here that if it sends an invalid command, we would expect it to say command not found. But if we send the word exit, then we and a status code, then we need to exit our program with the given status code. So I think I'm the first one to do this. So yeah, there aren't code examples yet, which is excellent. I don't know enough Zig, so we're going to have to learn this as we go. But what we will do here is I'm going to go ahead and fire up Vim again. Source main.zig. So here's what we have currently. We have our REPL. We have handling the command and it not being found. So we need to do some string comparison. And I have in another tab, learn X and Y minutes for Zig. String comparison normally shouldn't be challenging, but I know that under the hood, strings are actually a slice, looks like slice is the correct term, of U8s. So yeah, who knows? So here's an example of a string. This is also a valid string. Both of these seem to be equivalent. And then an example of printing the string. So for comparison's sake, maybe what we'll do is I want to see, do we have a switch? Is that a thing? Switch value pattern. Okay. As a switch in C, but slightly more advanced. Cool. Oh, and it looks like you can actually return a value from your switch and store it in a variable, which is extra nice. But do you have to? Probably not. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to switch on... Oh, come on, language server. Yeah, okay, cool. We're going to switch on a command. We don't have a command yet, so we need to figure out what that is. But what we're going to do is if we get a command and that command is exit, then we are going to do something. Else, we are going to, I believe we're just going to do this. We will print that the command was not found, since it's either going to be exit, which is the only command that we support, or it will be a command not found. So now we need to determine the command, right? And it's not as simple as just taking the user input and determining that that's the command, because in this case, the entirety of this would be the command. But we really just want to check and see if it's the word exit. So what we can do here is we can split. So let's find another Zig example. Strings, maybe. Okay, maybe not strings. So Zig, string, split. There's got to be a way, right? New way to split and iterate over strings. Standard mem window, standard mem split. When there's a known delimiter, but there is no easy way to split a buffer every in items. Okay, so this is actually probably what we want. So let's find this. Oh, sweet, we got source code to look at too. Split. Deprecated use split sequence, split any, or split scalar. Okay, so here's an example, right? So we have split sequence. It's a sequence of U8, which is what a string is. We've been over this. Here's the example of that string. It has a ton of pipes or bars or whatever you want to call them, and it looks like it's splitting on OR bars. And you can see here, here's the output in that order. Interestingly enough, there's a null at the end, which I didn't expect, but that's okay. We can definitely handle that. So let's go back here to our code. And, oh, oops, sorry about that. What happened? Yeah, I think the language server might be having some issues, or my Vim integration with the language server might be having some issues. So we need to define a command, right? So I believe it's a variable in this case, so we'll say variable command, is equal to standard mem dot split sequence. The language server seems to be working fairly well. Returns an iterator that iterates over the slices of buffer. Okay. So we have a compile time type. We know that the type is a U8. We have a buffer here, and a buffer is going to be a T, so it'll be a U8. So in our case, this will be user input. And then we have a delimiter, and this is a constant. So we know that our delimiter is going to be a space. Why is the, oh, oops, sorry about that. Why is the formatting off? But there we go. Okay, so now if command is exit, what we need to do, I'm assuming this is going to be something like standard.process.exit. Hey, good guess on my part. But it's not all that simple, right? Because now we need the value that's provided. So if we just hard-coded this to a 0, that might be the case some of the time, but we need it the rest of the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another function called HandleExit. And it's going to return void. And what we're going to do here is call, having some weird issues with Vim today, standard.process.exit. And I'm going to say 0, but we'll figure this out in just a minute because it's not necessarily going to be 0, right? So now that we're here, we can call HandleExit. But we need to pass in basically every single argument, right? So we can say maybe something like var args is equal to, and we'll change this to commands. Var command is equal to commands dot next. Or first. Yeah, let's do first. And then args would be commands.rest. And then we can pass in args here. I'm missing some semicolons, so let's fix that. Sorry, Go is what's on my mind at the moment. So I'm curious. Let's look at my language server here. Let's go to code. That's not what I want. I want to know what the type is here. I was hoping it would help. My hunch is that we are probably looking at a slice of U8, or it's a slice of U8. So we'll say args, and we'll see what this gives us. Zig format found an issue. There we go. Expected a... Let me pull up learn X and Y and search for functions because there's a really good chance that I declared this function incorrectly. And we know that it's the fn keyword, so specifically let's find that. Void error can return either an error or an integer. Interesting. Ah, okay. So args, unused function parameter. Cannot switch on strings. Oh no, we'll have to figure that out too then. And we just want args, like the first arg in our case will be the exit code. Okay. Zig cannot switch on strings. Gonna see if there's a cleaner way to handle this. But if there's not, what we can always do is just ifs. I was hoping for the switches, though. Okay, cool. You know what? That would be good, but instead, we're just going to go ahead and do an if. I think an if should be... I have to imagine an if should be fine, I should say. Please, Vim? Dang, man. Okay. If command is equal to exit, do this, else do this. Cannot compare strings with double equals. Zig cannot compare strings with double equals. Curious if we have a standard library type thing that we need to do. Standard.mem.equal. Compare two slices and returns whether they are equal. Equal accepts const U8 instead of U8. Okay, cool. So maybe what we need to do here is instead say if standard.mem.equal, and then comp time t is a type, so it's a U8. So what I remember from Zig earlier is that the comp time keyword is indicating that this is something that is determined at compile time. So we have t, and this is going to be command, and then this will be the word exit. And I need to clean this up, and then clean this up as well. Okay, cool. That seems promising. Zig didn't yell at me this time, which is nice. So then we'll call handleExit, and we'll pass in args. And I need the semicolon that I keep forgetting. We'll come down here and run standard debug.print. Oh my goodness. S command not found \n. And then for our args, I believe this is an anonymous struct. I should probably figure that out, but I believe that's what we're working with. And I'm missing the semicolon as per usual. We'll delete those lines since we don't need them anymore. Local variables never mutated. Okay, so we can probably make that a const. And another const. One more right just to make sure. Okay, cool. Seems promising. I'm going to go ahead and run zig build. It did not build. Excellent. Great start. Expected type slice of U8 found a slice of constant U8. Cast discards the const qualifier, parameter type declared here. So line 19, we have an issue. So 19 would be right here. Yeah, so this probably isn't correct, right? I'm not sure. Let's go to definition. Returns a slice of const t. Okay. We'll go back here. No, sorry, that's correct. We want the rest of them. So I think this would be a slice of a slice. So zig slice of slice. Let's see what we're working with here. Do we have an example of a slice of a slice? String literals in zig coerce to const u8, a slice const u8. Okay, that makes sense. I'm just going to make an assumption here that this looks like this. Seems promising. Zig build. We'll see what it does. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we do. Sorry, there's just a ton of output right here, and I thought that's what the output was, but it's actually all of this. So the type was expected to be a slice of U8, found a slice of const U8. Okay, so I could be wrong here, and maybe this is actually just a slice of const U8. Right quit. Zig build. Let's give this a shot. The error union is ignored. Consider using try catch if. So shoot. Sorry, 1 second. This is on 19. Handle exit. Error union is ignored. So 19 would be here. Zig error union is ignored. No return, error union type will allow try catch. Oh, I see. Sorry. This is indicating that this could be an error, I believe. So in our case, we just want it to be void. Zig build. Hey, that seems promising. Sorry about that. Attempt the exit command. Type in my GPG key. We'll push this up. It's going to run our tests in the cloud. While these are running, just want to mention that if you are... Oh no, our test runners might be experiencing downtime. If you're interested in trying these challenges out on your own and you haven't yet... Oh no, the test runner's down. This might be the end of the videos for now. But If you are interested in trying Codecrafters out for yourself and you haven't yet, I've got a link that I will put in the comments below, or the video description actually is probably a better home for that. That will it'll register your account and kind of link yours with mine. And what that means is that if you do end up paying for a paid plan, you get a discount, and then I get a little bit of a kickback, which helps both me and you out, which is pretty sweet. Expected 0 as the exit code got 48. So it actually looks like our test runner ran successfully, but I'm not sure why we expected 0 as the exit code and got 48. Test runner's down. Apparently it's been down for a while. Program exited successfully. Okay, received command not found message. Expected 0 as the exit code. That's wild. So let's come back here and kind of interesting. I don't know why it would be 48. So what we can do here is we can standard out.print. I'm sorry, let's not do standard out. Let's do standard debug.print. And we are going to print, I believe this is a string. Oops. So we can do an S. And then what we want to print here, we'll pass in our anonymous struct. And this is going to be args sub 0. Sweet. I'm going to zig build really quick just to make sure. Invalid string, invalid format string. You know what? Random observation. I believe 48 is the ASCII code for 0. Is that 4? It is 48. Okay, cool. So we have a fun little type coercion problem on our hands. My hunch here is that, so we know that this is a U8. We're working with a string. I'm just going to try this really quick and see if this will print, just out of curiosity. Get status, get add. Oh, sorry. Before we do that, let's make sure it builds. It did. Sweet. So one thing that I think you can do, I don't remember trying this much with the Go version, but a lot more comfortable with Go than I am Zig, is we can push up our changes and let the test runner run. And we should be able to see output from that test run. So if we need to, we can essentially add some debug logs, push those up, and debug based off those logs. Another option you could do is try to get tests running locally. I think they have a Codecrafter CLI that can help you run the tests locally. I'm just using the Git approach. So, okay, so yeah, you can see here, here's our output. So what we probably need to do is we can take a look at our code again. And instead of this being args 0, I think we could probably just pass this as is. So I'm going to zig build, make sure that I don't have some weird type issues. Oh, I totally do. Imagine that. Okay, so I think it does need to be the first one, but I'm pulling out a U8. And I need this to be a 0. Okay, so there's information on like an int cast here. So let's try this. And just as a friendly reminder, this is my knowledge of Zig in a nutshell. I don't know a ton, so I'm learning it as I go, and Codecrafters is the way that I've decided to do that. Get status. Let's go ahead and Zig build, see if it builds. Seems promising. Let's go ahead and give this a quick push. Oops. Another attempt. We'll push this up and let the test runner take it from here. Yeah, so one of the neat things too is as you're doing challenges here, if you click on code examples, you can see code examples for other people who have done this in the same language, and you can choose other languages over here. I think I'm the first one to do this stage in Zig, which is why we don't see any other examples. Oh, shoot. Did it just pass? No, it did not. What is... But if we wanted to, and we're like, well, Zig's kind of close to C, so let's see how people are solving this in C. You can hit yes, show me the code. It won't prevent you from completing it. It won't take away points. There's no, well, I guess there are points, but it won't take away points or anything like that. But if you want to see how other people are solving it, you can. So I'm going to hit no. Let's go back to instructions because we're pretty close here, I think. So we did get another 48, which is the ASCII 0. So our int cast is maybe not doing what I expected it to. I don't know what CryptoPals is. That might be something I'm curious to check out later. Oh, I really hope I don't have to do anything like that. But I guess I could subtract 0 from it. You know what? In the spirit of getting something working and trying to get a minimal viable solution out, I'm actually really curious to see if that works. I have a hunch that it will, but I think that bothers me more than I would expect. So if this does work, I'm sure Zig has a way to coerce a U8 int, to an int. So our 48 properly being coerced to a 0. But I'm actually really curious if this will work. Oh man, it does. That makes me feel bad. So I'm going to make a note to figure out the proper way to handle that. But in the spirit of getting the minimal solution in place, that works for us. Okay, so I can hit mark stage is complete, and then that will wrap up this video, and we'll move on to the echo command in the next video.